Good evening and welcome back to my dwarven fortress of Keskalokil, where we are beside the seaside and trying to teach the dwarves how to swim. This has only resulted in one fatality so far, which is fewer than the number of fatalities that we've had as a result of the dwarves being unable to swim. So I'm kind of ahead, I think. On the other hand, our attempts at having useful drainage systems have so far drowned 4 babies. But I think we fixed that now and it won't drown any more babies. And why am I pointing at someone's foot? Whose foot is this? Why is there someone's foot? I mean, yes, I appreciate that is the Surgeons Guild Hall, so maybe there's a good reason for there being a foot in there. But I'm not sure there is, you know. Stinthad Muthcatlilum. Stinthad Muthcatlilum does not appear to be a living dwarf in our fortress. Or a dead dwarf in our fortress. Or an other. Who is Stinthad Muthcatlilum and why is their right foot in my fortress?
They tried to attack at some point.
That's well, we know Stinthed is a dwarven name because we do have 2 dwarves called Stinthed.
Right, okay.
So I think it's a dwarven foot, but it doesn't appear to belong to anyone who is in the fortress or who has died in the fortress.
Dwarf is clearly a weapon from The Hobbit, like Orcrist.
Yes. Thank you. Dizzy suggests merchants? Yes, possibly.
Let's see what we know about our civilization. Leave a foot behind. It's a good question, yes. Just in case there's someone we've heard of. Doesn't look like it, no. Like they're not one of the people who's come to who I'm certain has come to visit us. Right. Well, maybe we should put it in the rubbish. Probably not helpful having it lying around here.
I mean, even if it does belong to a living dwarf, there's not much you can do with the other one.
No, I mean, if it were a dead dwarf, then it should go in their coffin, even if it was detached before they died. But in general, as long as some part of a dwarf is in their coffin, it doesn't really matter where the rest is. I think you only need to bury some component, and the dwarf won't rise as a ghost. Anyway, having accidentally discovered someone's foot lying around in my fortress, and we don't know who they are. What else is going on? Right, so we have assembled most of the mechanism for running the minecart swimming training system over a longer distance, except that we still need to build a bunch more rollers. But it does have this problem that I was going to say it keeps killing people. That's an utter lie. It's killed one person. Well, one dwarf, who's a kind of person. But this is larger than the number I would like it to be killing. And I think there is actually a way we can improve matters here. Because while the minecarts are in this section, we push them around quite... why is there a pile of bricks on the railway track there? We push them around quite vigorously with the rollers in order to get them through the water. But once they're up here, there's a lot less friction, and so they could safely move quite slowly up here without running out of oomph and stopping entirely in the wrong place. So I think what I want to do is to arrange to slow down the minecarts when they arrive in the terminal, so that they're so that when they hit dwarves, as they undoubtedly will, they do so gently.
And not at a velocity that will turn out to be terminal for the dwarf.
Yes, indeed. And I think what I want to do is something mildly silly, which is to first accelerate the minecart on arrival and then slow it down. And the point of this is that we don't really know how fast the minecart will be when it leaves the water, because that depends critically on the depth of the water. And because the depth varies slightly, it depends on the depth of the water as encountered by the minecart after its last set of rollers. So my inclination is to put an additional set of rollers at the top of the ramp that accelerates the minecart to line speed, and then a bunch of track stops that slows it back down to just above walking pace, which might require a bit of experimentation.
If your dwarven minecarts do crash into the track and explode, it would biffer, buffer and bomber.
Thank you. No. I wish to point out that that the minecarts do not explode. Indeed, nothing explodes in Dwarf Fortress, pretty much. Like even if you pour water into lava, you don't get very exciting explosions. Right. So I think thus I want to set up some more rollers, which is going to be slightly fiddly. I also had a kind of a plan that involved whether trying to have a means of clearing the minecarts out of the way by throwing very heavy minecarts down here. I'm not sure if that works, so we might want to experiment with it, but maybe we experiment with it later anyway. Diziot asks, how are your track worker safe system of work packs going to be validated? For the most part, we don't allow we operate on the principle that all the tracks are blocked to minecarts whenever we're doing works on the tracks, and usually when the minecarts are running, the tracks are also flooded, which discourages the dwarves from walking on them, and that seems to be pretty effective. The major problem is if a dwarf does end up on the tracks, they need a reasonably safe escape route, and we might want to install some more staircases for that. We might also want to install some statues to cheer them up, but we don't. It turns out I have no spare statues. I've checked that once. The problem is at the station where the dwarves actually have to collect the minecarts, and that's where they get injured. But we're trying to deal with that by running at lower speeds. Yes, basically this entire area is limited clearances. Like, it is not safe to be anywhere in here when the trains are running. I mean, even ignoring the fact that, as far as I can tell, dwarves have no sense of self-preservation when it comes to minecarts. I mean, I don't.
I don't think you need to put the when it comes to minecarts.
But they can dodge people attacking them with axes, for instance. So why they can't also dodge minecarts, I don't know.
Minecarts are fun to be around.
They don't recognise the minecarts as a threat until it's way too late.
So what I think I want to do is to remove this section of wall so I can then run a bit of extra drive shaft along there and up through this floor here to connect up to a new roller there. That way I don't have to. I could punch a hole through this wall and run the shaft, an axle in there, but I'm slightly worried that will give a way for enemies to get into the fortress. Not that this is usually a problem, because so far our approach to enemies has been to rush out and hit them before they can reach the entrance. But we'll see. So I think I want to remove that section of wall. And then, actually, let's also remove that square because it'll just be tidier if I do that. And then reinstate that wall a bit further out. We'll want to make a hole in the floor there. Oh, right, I think we need to demolish a ramp first, yes. We could demolish all those ramps because I don't think they're helpful anymore. So one thing we did discover last time. Oh, we've got more puppies that need gelding. Well, they probably need gelding. That's an awful lot of puppies. We should probably allow people to adopt puppies as pets, shouldn't we?
Only if you can work out how not to drown them on a regular basis.
Well, I think I know why we drowned them. And if they're pets, they're more likely to stay with their owners. Though, to be fair, given the number of puppies, we could probably do with drowning some of them. That's a stupid number of puppies. I mean, we should now have reached the point where nothing other than dwarves can get pregnant in this fortress, and dwarves can't because there are too many dwarves around. Okay, though the birds can't be gelded, but since we eat all of their eggs before anything interesting happens to them, that should be fine as well. So, yes, we're now removing those walls. Right, we've built a few more mechanisms, which is good. I shouldn't bother closing the... Right, yes, okay, we had 2 litters of puppies emerge in rapid succession there, which would explain why we have quite so many puppies. Right, so we want a gear assembly below there, I think. Yes, of course, next to the pillar. Right, we have lots of mechanisms now. We can probably build most of the remaining rollers we want. And then we want a horizontal axle to connect that gear assembly to the existing gear assembly. And then we want a hole in the floor here. And then we're going to want another gear assembly there, but that's going to have to wait a bit. And then we'll want some rollers at the top of it. I think to avoid confusion, those rollers should run at the same speed as all the other rollers. And then we're also going to want some more rollers elsewhere that we may run out of chains. So that layer goes rightwards. Right, I need to set then these 2 need to go leftwards. No, that's not leftwards, that's downwards. And then the next 2 need to go rightwards, and then I'll cancel that downwards one. Okay, the next one, because we need that leftwards. I have got a job making chains, haven't I? Yes. At least I have making a forged copper chain job. Thought I had a forged bill and chain job. I finished that one. Oh well. Once we've got the copper chains made, then maybe I'll need to make some more billion ones as well. Are we making copper chains because one of my people wants them? No, they want mail shirts and bins. Oh well. So then we're going to want some track stops up here. So how do those work? They're constructions, aren't they? Yes. So we'll want, I think it should dump, if a minecart comes in and isn't empty, we should dump it southwards, and then we can have a grate there that lets the water, any water it's collected, fall through. I think our first one wants to be friction level 4, and I think that will not stop it, but it will slow it down a bit, and then maybe we'll be able to put in some lower friction ones afterwards. This is probably going to require a bit of experimentation. So actually, let's also make a hole in the floor there, and we'll stick a floor grate in it. Right, so now we have a hole there, we can stick another gear mechanism on top. Gear assembly, sorry. There. And then we'll put a grate there. There's our best grate. Thank you. Yes, our greatest grate. Turns out we don't have a masterwork grate lying around, sadly. It is now summer, which means that humans might come and try to trade with us. We can see there are people building these new rollers. So that's now operating that gear mechanism. We still have plenty of spare power. Oh, not now, vile force of darkness. Currently appear to consist of 3 . All right, we aren't able to make any more copper chains. Let's schedule. There isn't a way to search your existing work orders. I think there may be an assumption that you haven't got a stupidly large number of them. Let's cancel copper chains then, and ask for billion chains, because surely we have adequate billion. And also, let's have a quick look at our stocks. In particular, how are we off for billion, come to that. Got plenty of platinum. Maybe we should make some more platinum statues. Got far too much platinum. Yeah, we've got plenty of billion too. Oh yes, I wanted to check if we had enough coal, or if I was going to need to do some more coal mining. And come to that soap, but right, we've still got 346 coke lying around. That will be fine. Oh, we should do something about the vile force of darkness, shouldn't we? Presume that, like, it isn't just 3 goblins. Yes. We do currently only have 3 invading goblins. Yes. in order to scare off invading goblins. Well, let's summon one squad of dwarves up to the surface. Oh, well, we'll summon them all, because either this is not an interesting invasion, in which case they can be released again, or a lot more goblins are going to turn up. I mean, that's 4 now. 5. We should not have the fight by the sea, by the water, because currently our dwarves are not good enough at swimming. Like, you know, most of them have tried it now. Also, you appear to be hauling several items of weaponry around, but not to actually be wearing adequate armour. I think we may need to just give our military dwarves a little while to organise themselves. See, that's someone who's sensibly dressed. I mean, apart from having no trousers on. Why do they find trousers so difficult?
I don't know.
How's the vile force of darkness coming along? There's a small number of crossbow dwarves. A dwarven child has bruised the lung of one of our stray cats and punched the mare.
Let them off punching the mayor on because it's funny.
Right, I want my dwarves to stay well back from the river for now. Let the goblins work out how they're getting across. Okay, so there are goblin thieves around as well, are there? Oh yes, there they are. They're coming past the river as well. Well, they're really not a problem. Indeed, several of them are already terrified. The goblin archers are shooting some of my the goblin snatchers are running away. Goblin crossbowmen have just terrified all of my livestock, and I have a lot of livestock. But I think now we should advance a little bit. Should we? Very little bit. See where the goblins are going. Yeah, we do have some injured animals now. Well, we'll deal with them in a bit. No one else is injured yet, though. So I think that my military should now be told that that is a target, and I think actually I say that and that. We'll leave the other 2 goblins until they get closer. Now there's an enormous crowd of animals the military have to fight their way through, but are those 2 goblins trying to jump over the river? They succeeded. Right. Right, I think we can safely say that one goblin crossbowman is no longer happy. Right, now that all the goblins are on this, all the goblin crossbowmen are on this side of the river. Yes, let's select the 3 that I can immediately find as targets. Oh, there's the other one. Right, I think the goblin thieves will probably not be a problem. That goblin is leaving a trail of blood behind them. Yeah, they've been killed. So's that one. That was only one dwarf took that goblin on. Well, they're goblin crossbowmen. They're probably not wearing armour. This one does appear to be repeatedly shooting people. Yes. And you did get... Right, yes, this dwarf is successfully blocking the... Oh, that one hurt. I mean, it only caused bruising because of sensible armour, but...
Goblin crossbow bites the sword still.
Yeah, that's not going to work through iron armour.
Iron boots, I think, more specifically.
So, yes, so this is our surviving... I think we're now down to 1 surviving goblin crossbowman. Oh no, there are three of them still apparently alive. But oh, that means that there are more than I thought.
Yeah, I did see more than 3.
I think I saw 4, but oh well, we'll find more of them once we've killed a few. That one still needs to be dealt with.
Yeah, I can see 2 from here.
Yeah, so there's one. Oh yes, there's 2 alive there, aren't there? Let's make sure. Surely, shouldn't I be able to choose that and then click on either side of the goblins? Apparently not today. So where's the 3rd one, I wonder? Oh well, we'll kill these 2 first. Right, where's our remaining... How many goblin thieves? May have to make sure we get them. No, apparently there aren't any. There's 1 remaining goblin bowman who is over here somewhere. Right, yes. As yet uninjured, but... Well, I mean, it has an iron helm, which might help. And has so far not actually hurt anyone. Not actually been hurt, rather, or hurt any of my dwarves. The first one of those, at least, will change. Oh, confirm. What just happened? Looked like the mace lord and first healer, mace dwarf and first healer, rushed up to the goblin and then ran away again. I think, oh right, I think it was that jumps away twice that was strange, but on the other hand, she seems to be doing a pretty good job with the with her mace. Right, and that's that goblin dealt with. And the siege is now officially over. That was a really very minimal siege. Like, that was not a lot of goblins. There do seem to have been a couple of deaths among the animals. And we should probably schedule making some more leather trousers. Or maybe some other leather clothes, I don't know. We're actually starting to run out of leather. I mean, not quite, but like we've no longer got all of the spaces filled with leather bins. Oops, that was completely the wrong set of buttons. Right, and we should do something about all the dead goblins. Like, unforbid their clothes and throw away their teeth. Easier to do it by this means. Also, there appears to be a goblin arm there, which can be disposed of. Oh, a goblin head, we should keep that.
A horrible object lesson.
Yes.
Goblin frozen blood.
I don't know. That's particularly odd because it's not exactly cold. It's the middle of summer.
I was going to say. You have a weather option. I can see the season indicator. But
Yes, and indeed that is a phase of the moon indicator. I don't think we get weather indications in Fortress mode. Yeah, I don't know why the goblin blood is all frozen. That's the one I've already done. I should reclaim the armour, but maybe we should actually get the dead bodies out of the way first. That looks like... Oh, no. I was going to say... Oh! No. What was the body part we found? Was it a foot or something? It had a dwarven name, but that doesn't mean it was a dwarf. This is a corpse of someone with a dwarven name, but we can tell that it's not a dwarf by the other thing that's in the same square. It's a rabbit named by a dwarf. Maybe that lost foot was similarly not of a dwarf but of a pet. But still, they should appear under the list of dead, shouldn't they? Oh, I don't know. Let's put that in the rubbish because I don't think we can butcher a named animal. Right, I'll reclaim the weaponry in a bit. Are there any... The bright green dead goblins are nice and easy to find. Are there any grey dead goblins kicking around? Or did they all just flee? It's possible they just fled. If I unpause, then they'll be obvious because they're the creatures that aren't moving. or if this were Cadvile, a breathing.
I'm just trying to prove that I exist to HMRC. I'm just trying to give them money. So I probably owe them like
Right. Meanwhile, that roller is now running correctly. That track stop has been constructed. So how about we try sending one... Actually, let's see if we can finish building the rollers. But probably we want to try sending a minecart through the tracks and see what happens. Let's see if we've got the bits to build the rollers first. Also, there appears to be an animal down there. And a... See, this is the problem. You kill a goblin up here, and unsurprisingly, we end up with teeth lying around. But the teeth also penetrate through the floor. Well, now is a good time to remove the teeth from the minecart tracks, at least. We would quite like the rabbits not to be lying around, messing around in there. Are you by any chance getting into a fight with a dog now? No, you're mostly standing up. So, all the rollers are running, yes. But now we want to build the remaining rollers if we can, though I think we're still short of chains. Yes. We're trying to make more chains. Probably at the moment, if we send a minecart through this, it will actually run all the way because there's no water. But it will also run down 2 donkeys. Maybe we should wall this off again so as to keep animals out. I mean, this will admittedly trap some of them in until they work out how to escape, but also that suggests there might be donkeys that aren't officially assigned to this pasture. No, they are all assigned to that pasture. Oh well, someone will collect them in due course then. So what we did find last time was that if we when we were melting things down, we were actually able to melt a bill and jug, and well, the royal jelly ended up falling out into the smelter, which is not very helpful. I mean, I assume I can't then mark the loose royal jelly for dumping. But thus we can, if we melt all the jugs of royal jelly, that will at least get the jugs out of our inventory. But maybe we should have another go at selling them first. Those are all marked for dumping, aren't they? Apart from the head, of course. Actually, we should make some more pedestals for putting goblin heads on.
Smear of yak blood. Some poor yak cuts itself shaving.
Yes. We don't actually need 10 rock pedestals. Have I still got a manager? Has something happened to my manager? Slightly concerned by the fact that these tasks are not for being named. No, I have got a manager. Okay. We could do with one bin, one pick, and 3 mail shirts, apparently. We should make some steel then, because I don't want to waste mail shirt making on materials that are not of, or making them out of materials that aren't the best. And we have now got some flux stone in the form of chalk. Where's that water coming from? In the form of chalk from down here, at least a little bit of it. Actually, what I should do then is make a flux stockpile.
Flux capacitor, surely.
Yes, thank you. Which will just, for the moment, contain chalk. We'll use wheelbarrows. It will take from everywhere. Then that will then I can start doing whatever is necessary to make pig iron and steel. Yes, everyone seems to think it should be called flux capacitor, so it is. Right. I'm sure at some point someone's going to pick up that spare tooth and take it away.
I've had a clothes horse joke and you wanted a clothes comment. Sport.
So I think we've cleared up the most of the dead goblin bits. He's spotting a tooth. So now we can probably find the piles of goblinite they've left behind, and well, frankly, most of them are going to be sold to the traders. Just quickly glancing at my population numbers to check that we didn't lose any children to the Snatchers, but I don't think we did. I think we were at... right, we can't build those because entanglements. We can't build them, we just need to disentangle them a bit.
You don't. Sorry, I'm actually feeling things.
That track stop is actually present. Oh, I found some kaolinite, didn't I? And do we like kaolinite? Where was the kaolinite? Was it there? Surely I found some shallower kaolinite than that. Well, there's some there, which I suppose is technically shallower. Yes, maybe it was that batch. So we could try to mine to there. If we just go vertically downwards from where it's likely to be reasonable, from somewhere around here, we could just see what we find. And that might get us to some more kaolinite, which would be nice. Apparently, how does our job for making plaster work? What's it triggered by? It is actually triggered by us not having enough plaster. So I think if there's a make gypsum plaster job being triggered, we should mine more gypsum in order to be able to provide it, supply it. We have actually got gypsum all the way up here. No need to go very deep to get gypsum. Actually, is there any? There's none in the level that actually has the kiln in, is there? No. Right. Well, let's do it up here. Why has that got stuck? Yeah, we're working on the gypsum. Mostly by like enlarging this little temple in order to make more gypsum. Right, so now we've more or less walled off the minecart tracks and there is nothing on them. Let us set up one of the minecarts running. And check that it doesn't get stopped on arrival. And assuming it doesn't, then we'll experiment more with actually, let's quickly adjust that one to push rather than riding, so as to avoid too much embarrassment. Right, so check, there is no one on the tracks. That minecart will probably make it all the way to the first rollers because there's no water in the way. Okay, there is a kitten there, that might be a problem. The kitten has left again. Now there is a dwarf there. And two more cats. Why are you passing through here, you nuisance? Right, the cats have got out of the way. So at the moment the minecart is going 1 square approximately every 2 presses of frame advance, which is what we expect. Takes slightly longer to get up there, then it gets accelerated, and then everything goes wrong because there's another minecart in the way. So now it's every 3 or 4 presses. I mean, there was a slightly silly Newton's cradle effect, but the principle was reasonably shown that it was slightly slower as a result of that one track stop. Let's let that minecart be sent round again. Right, there it is. Let's watch the minecart this time. Okay, and off it goes. Still an excess of kittens down here. They mostly seem to be using this as a way to get between places. Get out of the way. Right. So yes, that track stop has nicely slowed it down a little bit. Let's try, so we could try building another track stop at the current level of deceleration. I think that will stop the minecart, which is not what we want, but let's test it. Well, that's what we want. We want the final bit to be very sluggish, because that's when there will be dwarves around who might get run down by it. So, like, our plan is that the minecart will be slowed down when it arrives, consistently to a safe speed. Let's not follow it, it's slightly weird and jerky. As before, animals running back and forth along the southernmost track. And the occasional dwarf. Don't get run down by the minecart. I think that cat just dodged it. What are you doing? Okay, you are storing an item of your own, right? Have we constructed that track stop yet? Apparently we have. That was quick. Right, so now we have an arriving minecart. Here it is. And it has got stuck. Right, yes. So, did I actually set that to the correct friction, or did I set it to highest? I may have made a mistake. Yes, the cat was indeed briefly hiding in the refuge because it knows that it really shouldn't be treading on the track. Right, there is a dwarf now standing on the minecart track while dismantling the track stop. It's a bit dangerous. Right, they've successfully dismantled the track stop before the minecart arrived. Let's wait for the minecart to arrive. It's a nice long time they'll get in the water now. Right, and then we'll build a new track stop at friction level 3 here. Which someone is going to build by standing on the relevant section of track, but the minecart isn't even running yet. Right, so that's a 4 and then a 3. I am quite tempted to widen things a bit, simply so that there's space for kittens to run along this section of track. Even though really, I mean, I suppose the alternative is we just, yeah, let's pave over that exit. Much simpler. Right, meanwhile, the other thing we want to do is to drain some more of the river to extract the dead dwarves from it. There's one that looks like it might be a fairly easy one to do. But there aren't actually any dead dwarves there. There's just a small quantity of nice armour. Tea. Yes, it's somewhere I can't see it. So it doesn't exist.
You could do it like the dwarves have a tea factory, which reminds you of tea.
You mean I'd have some kind of a message that says some tea was drunk occasionally to remind me? Gareth suggests I could arrange some kind of repeating job that gives me a message that tells me I should drink some tea. Okay, we've got more kittens. Pretty sure there are no intact male cats left in this place. So I'm slightly worried that we still have kittens. Oh dear, splot. Airborne cat. Notice the blue background that indicates it's flying through the air. It may not be very good for it though. Okay, that cat will probably survive.
You got into a fight before the...
Yes, it got into a fight with the angry child. Okay, the landing I think may have been more painful. Oh no, still only bruises. Let's shut off. Oh, I didn't get to see how much it slowed down, did I? I mean, it arrived, so that's good. Yeah, I don't want to accidentally run that cat down again, so I will temporarily adjust Dwarf Washer 1 to have no minecart assigned to it. Yes. But we could construct another level 3 track stop and see what that does. Constructions, track stop 3. There. Right, we've now paved over the top of that staircase, so it's less tempting for people to try to wander through here. Also, that conveniently removed some spare bricks. Right, so now we've now got some chalk in that stockpile. So now I could, have we managed to actually schedule any orders? Oh, good. So now we could start an order to make pig iron bars. Let's see if that works properly. All right, the injured cat has managed to vacate the dangerous area. But let's wait for the track stop to be built. Meanwhile, so if I wanted to drain this section of... If I wanted to drain that section, I'd need to scroll it away from where all the messages appear. So that's water, that's not water. Well, I think probably the most sensible approach is to punch a hole through the wall there, and thus have our staircase come up there. So we'll go through the wall there, which means we'll want a staircase that runs up to there at least. Okay, that will kind of run through the gap between two people's bedrooms. Maybe I should just run that staircase. Well, I can't run the staircase vertically downwards there because... yes, but we could start another staircase here. Or I suppose right next to the...
Have you inhaled rather too much of that toothpaste?
vertical. Right, so that should work all right. Struck tiger iron, apparently, whatever that is.
The streamer described it as spot the difference horror. You're supposed to be inspecting log cabins for being haunted, and they're coming towards you on a conveyor belt, and you go in and look round, and they basically look the same, except there's always something disturbing wrong. It was very strange. Quite well done. Lots of very creepy things happening. Like sometimes they have a basement, which they shouldn't because they're on a conveyor belt.
So that gives it, then we can build a bridge across this.
Finish inspecting the cabin, come out of the door, and there's a button you're supposed to press. But it's safe, a different button that's dangerous, but the buttons have been taken away.
So how does this drain? Is this all still just draining through there? No, we have a separate drain up here. Right, yes, that's fine. Right, so now we could also dig into there like that, which will connect that up to the existing drainage system. Masterpiece pink... Sorry, I got my two messages confused. Masterpiece grizzly bear leather trousers and pink tourmaline. Not, I'm sorry to report, Masterpiece pink grizzly bear leather trousers. Right, I finished my tea. Sadly, we do not have the technology to dye leather in Dwarf Fortress. This thing that's meant to be a oh, we cancelled a bunch of designations because it's wet. Yeah, keep going.
I should do my name on that one. I've got oodles and oodles of time free, but
Right, so now we have a kind of a drain pipe, except that, oh, there's a constructed wall there that we're going to try to drop tons of water through. We'll have to remove that wall. Thank you. That was quick. And then make a hole in the floor. And if we're just going to leave it in between two people's bedrooms there, we should probably put a floor grate over it. We'll also want a floor grate here, of course, to catch rubbish. We'll also want a hatch cover up here. We're going to want some doors. Want one there and one there. Right. So apart from the fact that we've run a drain pipe, drain pipe without like any actual pipe straight through someone's bedroom, this is all looking quite sensible.
maybe, don't know. Okay. I'm going to see Sophie about that.
Right, so we've now got a third track stop here,
I'll probably remove one on Tuesday.
set at medium as well. Let's see what happens if we send a minecart around this system now. The mayor has been re-elected. We've got some pedestals. Excellent. Let's erect a new pedestal near where we expect goblins to arrive. And put one next to that tree as well. So now we have a clear hole all the way down there, which we're just about to install a floor grate at that level. We're installing a floor grate at that level. We're going to install a floor hatch at that level. We're going to need a lever to connect up to those hatches. Which can go here. You can't name it until it's constructed. We should also there's a moving minecart. Excellent. So at the moment, it's doing its usual speed of about 2. Oh. Feb Alothiton, ghostly administrator, has risen and is haunting the fortress. Well, that's a pity. Can we find your corpse? Because if we're going to recover it soon... Can't find it. No. Okay, we'll make you a statue then. Statue, a slab. Right, so this minecart has not yet arrived at its destination. It's still only taking 4 ticks per step. Now slightly worried that my first test of the second track stop may have been I may have set it to the wrong deceleration. Let's just try rebuilding it with with a different with a setting that might or might not be what I tried before, because I'm not entirely certain I got it right. Though there is a danger that someone's going to get run down again. Right, let's turn that off again, so we'll have to wait a moment for the minecart to finish its journey. Meanwhile, drains, that's now done. We're still waiting for that lever to be installed. Looks like everything other than the lever is now ready. There is a slight danger we'll flood someone's bedroom. How did some body parts end up in here? Like, it's only had a turkey skeleton in it for ages. It was an attempt at drowning things that I never used. But it's now gained an arm. Do we even have any access to it? Oh yes. There's a door there that's actually officially passable, so we can dump that arm that's for some reason fallen in there.
Sounds called goalposts.
Yes, it's true. We had someone whose name is Suxel Goalpost. Posts. Right, have we constructed those? All right, yes, excellent. So now, somewhere over here, no, that's an arm, that can be thrown away as well. Somewhere over here, there's a goblin head. That's a crossbow. You can have a crossbow if you want. We might melt it, though. That's an entire square full of stuff I haven't asked to recover yet. Right, none of which is the goblin head that I want. Was a goblin head around here somewhere that I needed? Oh, that's another bit of arm. Let's try the stocks menu. Stocks, body parts, head. No, that's of no use at all. Doesn't appear to find any heads.
I did find a hammerhead sharp leather dress, though. That was quite cool.
Yes. I think whatever that is, wherever it is, it wants to be thrown away. There's a head. Kogang Uxos Tostra, that's a good one.
Another one 2 steps down from there.
Right. Ngokang. But again, I can't select it through there. Why can you not search for people's heads? Most annoying.
Those are heads there.
Yes, I fear that some of them may already be on display. But also, I can't find the one I'm looking for. Where's Ngokang What's Name's head? Can I not put it on there because it's rotten at the moment? Does it have to be properly reduced to... So we have Osnan and Ngom and Snowdub. And I think Ngom and Snowdub and Osnun. So those ones are already on display, though we should actually move one of those, shouldn't we? We should move Snowdub onto this pedestal so that we only have one head per pedestal. Seems silly to put two goblin heads on the same pedestal.
Safe for people goblin.
Yes. So let's move that one. But I think we found last time that until all of the flesh had rotted off it, you couldn't actually install a goblin head. On a pedestal. Right, so let's build a new track stop there at level 4 because I think maybe I screwed it up last time. I don't know. So level 4 track stop. There. I think I didn't, but like I'm slightly confused by how little slowdown the 2 level 3 track stops are giving me. I suppose we probably don't have much use for a bag of turnip seeds, which is why it's just been left there. Similarly, we probably don't have much use for a crossbow. Let's melt that crossbow down. It's made of iron. We might have a use. Might have a use for. Apparently, there is some horrible bug with trying to train. Oh, there's another head there. Right, we should remember that one and also reclaim all of the other items from that square. There is apparently some horrible bug with ranged weapons at the moment in Dwarf Fortress, which doesn't affect me because I don't believe in them.
Is this the kind of thing where you turn around and the ranged weapons have turned into a ballista and launch themselves into space or something?
I don't think so. I think it's just really hard to get anyone to train on them or something.
Okay.
I don't really understand. But my approach is, that's fine, we'll go out and hit things with hammers. Hammers are good. We've got plenty of hammers. They're highly effective against goblins. They're pretty effective against bronze colossuses. Right, so there should shortly be a moving minecart again. Ah, that lever is now ready. So we want to link that to that. And we want to name it East River West Lower Drain, we'll call it for now. So I bet we'll now decide we need a drain further west just to annoy me. Make the naming of things difficult. Come on, someone give this minecart a shove. Otherwise I'm going to have to start building the final set of rollers. Because like we can tune this thing while the place is flooded. It'll just be if I get it very wrong, it'll be unhappy. Is anyone going to push this?
It's a minecart, we're probably going to have to strain the needle to it.
There we go. Right, so that will trundle. Someone wandering in here again just to annoy me. Where are you going? There aren't even any objects in this place now. I can't actually think of a good reason for you to be here. You're now just hiding in that niche. Why are you hiding in that niche? Yeah, it's true. You're cleaning the niche. Okay, keep cleaning, keep cleaning. You stoat. You stepped out just as the minecart was coming.
Did you then get squashed?
No, they're currently in mid-air, having been hurled through the air by a collision with a minecart.
Right, I think you need to teach these dwarves the Green Cross code.
As Seb says, niche now covered in blood.
But,
There's only a spattering of blood on the track just outside.
If that's okay, it'll get washed away by all the turnip wine.
Yes. I mean, the niche is now lovely and clean, apart from the mud. So you've got some shattered ribs and some bruised legs. You are currently airborne, so you're presumably about to have another exciting experience.
What happens when a bone doctor has their own ribs shattered?
We have plenty of bone doctors now. I fixed my bone doctor problem.
you created a bone doctor Guildhall.
Yep.
Right.
Now we have some excellent bone doctors.
Along with the surgeons and the frankly creepy child. How old is
Yes.
the frankly creepy child now?
There's no one who is maximally annoyed. Let's have a look at the slightly alarming, brilliant surgeon child.
Golden story-ish something. Child.
No, they're not the. It looks like the most alarming one is actually adequately cheerful now, or dead. Okay. I'm confused now. There should be a legendary child somewhere. Nishgemishabul, yes, who is now 6 years old, is anger prone, but I think is reasonably happy.
Playing with a toy boat makes sense. You know, that feels like an age-appropriate thing for a 6-year-old to be doing.
That appears to be a rotten corpse. Let's just throw that away. Right, so yes, let's turn the minecart track off again. I might flood it just to keep people out. Oh no, you're feeling better. You don't. Are you? You are taking yourself to hospital, right? That's fine. What are you doing? Oh, you're cleaning some of the blood off the tracks. Yes. Let's follow this unfortunate bone doctor to hospital.
Is it possible to teach wolves elementary minecarts cut safety, or is this...
I mean, they're already meant to avoid walking on the tracks if they possibly can. I've just spotted 2 more goblin teeth.
That's okay.
Right, our injured bone doctor is now resting in the hospital, has been evaluated, will need sutures and setting and dressing. Sutures have been provided. Ribs have been set by one of our many bone doctors. And a dressing has been provided. See, the quality of treatment provided by medicine in by the hospital here is pretty good. We can get you back out there and playing silly buggers with minecarts really quite quickly. Okay, that minecart is actually still just waiting to be collected, which suggests it's got stuck, right? Because yes, it's there. So okay, that track stop really doesn't work if we set it at level 4, because the minecart is stationary on that level 4 track stop.
When you say minecarts have perfectly elastic collision,
I'm not sure they actually do in all cases, but yes.
a perfectly elastic collision only involves the moving object coming to a stop and the stationary one starting up, if they have the same mass.
Yes.
So an empty minecart and a full minecart shouldn't work like that, even if the collision is perfectly elastic.
I don't know. I think they may only be perfectly elastic under some fairly narrow conditions, and I'm not sure the mass of the rider counts as part of the mass of the minecart, because they're not really... Well, the minecart is mostly intended as a means of transporting stuff, which does count as part of its mass. And of course the minecart itself has mass. These are all wooden minecarts, which are quite light. Okay, right, so let's abolish that track stop and put back in a level 3 track stop there. And we could probably pave the entire area with level 3 track stops, but we'll do that slowly. Then we'll retrieve all the minecarts and then start flooding the minecart area again. Meanwhile, I spotted a tooth there and a tooth there. 3 teeth here, apparently. None of which need to be here. Right, is that linked up to its thing? It is, right. So I think we now want to pull that lever to open the hatch cover. And then we'll mine a hole in the wall here. Forbid that door temporarily. Then we'll mine a hole in the wall here and attempt to drain some of the dwarves and or goblins out of that section of the river. Okay, there is a minecart trundling again. I clearly forgot to turn it off. Right, the lever has been pulled. Let's now mine out that square there. That will then dump a load of water down there. Stuff will get caught on that grate. It will fall down there. Open space, open space. I need to work out what's rotting there. Open space, downward slope into the drainage system. Seb asks, what are the ones on the tracks? That's very shallow water. So the numbers indicate water depth out of 7, where 7 is a completely full square. So there is still a little bit of water lying around in the on the minecart tracks. Usually miasma goes up, but maybe it's come down here. Trying to work out where what is rotting. This may actually be a problem with my habit of building building the bedrooms with stairways. Ah, it's a head, which is rotten. Well, I'm going to leave that to rot there because I want to keep, unless I can, I bet I can't sensibly set up, what I want is a small rotting goblin head stockpile. Like out here in the wilds. Right, well that's a fairly close approximation to a rotting goblin head stockpile.
Rotting goblin heads, you can whack it.
It's a goblin body parts in general stockpile.
Newt stream.
Newt. So maybe that will cause goblins to be put in the right place. So who is doing some digging then, hey? You are, apparently. Right. So our miner has got out. Content being near a waterfall. Yes, well, I suppose that is technically a fairly substantial waterfall you've just created. So now we'll see how much of the rubbish in the river ends up being properly swept down that hole. Oh, come on, I want these two to move. And that one, ideally. What are you doing there? That's a terrible place to be. You're cleaning. Damn it, I should have locked that door when I had the chance. I mean, you might be okay if you don't step forwards.
That door has a child called Midge.
Yes. Yeah, okay, that's cleaner than it was, I will admit. And the door's closed. Right, I'm going to lock that door now. So I think that like this area should be able to drain down to 0 depth. But I'm like, why does that number keep going up? Why are these two not moving? Well, we can afford to wait a little while and see what else moves. Oh, there we go. That's another corpse shifted. Let's just check that nothing very bad is happening. Okay, the bedroom is flooding a little bit. And like we are dumping water into the caverns quite enthusiastically now. We would quite like to get one more goblin and one more dwarf sucked down here. But maybe we're not going to. And I am a little bit worried about that bedroom flood. Doesn't seem to be getting any worse though. And like, it's quite soggy down here, but not dangerously so. And the water is successfully running down to here, and then along there, and then down, 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 into the caverns where it's now quite wet. We can just detect the bottom of the caverns and detect that it's quite wet down there. No one seems to be putting goblin body parts in the correct location. Please move the rotting goblin heads. Right, I think that may be all the rubbish we're going to be able to get out of that part of the river. Oh, yeah, I don't think I think the minecarts are currently running. Well, one minecart is. It's probably not a big problem. Let's turn it off and finish. Let's finish what we were doing there. Which was to reinstate that track stop at level 3 and grumble slightly. I think a level 3 track stop is really a bit feeble. Possibly we should actually have made that roller a bit slower. But it'll be fine. Oh, and now that we've turned that off, let's finish building the rollers. So we want a rightward roller there. Oh, are we out of mechanisms? That's just annoying. Because I use them all for sorting out the drain. Yeah, I think we're not going to manage to suck the remaining dwarf down into this hole. Let us turn that off. Oh, we've probably got a slab that we have to install, haven't we?
Good night.
Good night. So our next drainage challenge is to get these two out, which will be fun. Right, so we've turned off the water flow. That means we can now unlock that door, claim everything in that room, and in particular dump everything that looks like it's part of a goblin. Slightly concerned by I've just got an alert, but we'll deal with that in a moment. Oops, that's set to dump already. Right, what's that about? All right, has been put to rest. Yes, that's a perfectly good alert. Let us read what the slab says. Masterful conglomerate memorial to Feb Alotheton, created by Led Aludusim. The slab reads, in memory of Feb Alotheton, born 48, suffocated, slain by the goblin Kutzmob Hellbraided, in Mogolskirk, the crazed assaults in the year 103, expedition leader of the Treaty of Caves from 100 to 102, admirer of rope reeds. Don't know where their body's gone. We might turn it up at some point. But we have turned up a bunch of other useful objects, or possibly useful objects. Just spotted an extremely worn copper mail shirt. That sounds like something we want to melt down. Right, and we are now burying the dwarves we found in there. Dizzy points out I have only one drink. We do seem to hang around the not having enough to drink situation. As far as I can tell, we can just about produce enough mead to keep the fortress supplied, is I think where we are with drinks, though admittedly what we have is not actually mead. Let's just check where that one drink is. Like, if that one drink is we've got one drink, so we haven't actually run out, then that's a lot better than if we have actually run out because this one is somewhere useless. It's in a water skin. That says that we haven't actually got any spare booze at all. How are we off for honey? Also, maybe I should melt down some of these crossbow bolts because it's not like I can use them. Well, not like I'm going to use them. We have got some honey around. What's the conditions for us turning honey into something useful? We do have a task for making mead, don't we? Yes. But its conditions are when we've got at least 10 honey. So we will start making mead soon. I'll just check we can't immediately make some other things. We do actually have apparently enough fruit to brew some drink from, so let's do some brewing. Right. Meanwhile, oh yes, we need to make some more mechanisms so I can make the last few minecart rollers. Annoyingly, but currently everyone is extracting things from this cupboard. Okay, there is apparently only one skeleton left in there that needs moving. Which I'm sure will happen soon. So then I kind of want to get these two out somehow. Wonder if there's some sensible way I can dig through a wall here to drain things. And of course, I also want to get the 2 human corpses out from over there. Like, we have substantially reduced the number of dead bodies in our rivers. Why is Zas Dumaturust not being buried? Is it because they're not entitled to a burial? Maybe it is. Maybe they are not actually one of the fortress dwarves. Oh yes, Seb points out that there is someone who is back up to maximal unhappiness. It's a child. 9-year-old child. Partly it was recently relived experiencing trauma. It looks like is the major problem there. Just looking at our ingredient stockpile to go, do we want to slaughter some more animals yet? But I don't think we do. Right, so about these minecarts. I think we now want to enable all of the minecarts briefly so as to get them all picked up. I mean, I say all of them. I really want to make sure I use... What I actually want to do is to enable those minecarts that are already part of the system. Can I name them? No. Well, let's just turn on lots of minecarts. I'm sure it'll be fine. I think the ones towards the top of the list are the ones I want to use anyway. Let's see. Oh, but we still need to, we still need to finish those, which means we're still waiting for that make rock mechanisms task to actually do something useful. Someone's working on it, but I think they're probably bringing the rock mechanisms from the rocks from far too far away. Most of these minecarts are set to ride rather than push. So people are riding the minecarts, but there's no water. Oh, there goes another cat. Which is slowly managing to get out of the way, but is about to be hit by another minecart. No, dodge that one too. How about this one? I think possibly this is too dangerous at the moment. But actually, that run has probably got all the minecarts out of the inconvenient places where I don't want them to be. So now it's safe for me to turn them back off again. Because the problem was that there were minecarts like littering the ground underneath. Oh dear, the cat died. I hope it wasn't a named cat. No. No one's going to mind very much then. do seem to be rather a lot of dwarves walking through the mines at the moment, through the minecart tracks at the moment. Right, you're going to arrive safely. Where are you two going? Have you decided you need to clean things again? Plus there's another cat in the way. Ooh, well dodged. No! I think someone may have just dodged a minecart. But only one. Damn it. Oh no. That minecart has not quite been stopped. That minecart is still moving. Which means it will catch up with the next roller and get to reach the end of the track. Maybe. Whee! Right. Only slightly messy, plus I've just found another goblin tooth. Okay, we have one significantly injured cat, which we will see if it survives. One horribly mangled dwarf, though still able to move, but yes, his left hand is going to need some work. But all the minecarts are now where I want them to be. And turned off again. Oh, there's already a task for that. Is someone going to... butcher it appropriately? What are you doing? You're cleaning. Right, that's fine. It is... The minecart system is a lot safer when you fill it with water. Can I issue the standing order along the lines of, if you find a goblin tooth, then put it in the bin? Well, I mean, I've tried to set up a goblin bits stockpile here, but it doesn't seem to work. Do I need to set a standing... there are... Now, we've got it set up to save things we find, so... I don't understand why the goblin heads aren't being properly filed. Okay, the injured cat at least is wandering off now. Good. Some dwarf here is going off and cleaning everything, but that's fine. Wanting to get the cat blood off it, I think. Someone is trying to make some rock mechanisms and they're being very slow about it. Right, are we going to get a job to actually butcher that cat corpse? Because that task has been there forever. I think I'm going to adjust the settings on this stockpile, on this workshop, to say that it takes from that rock stockpile and then cancel that task, at which point it should then get restarted, but from the rocks here rather than whatever the hell rock it was collecting. Right, yes, this dwarf is wandering around cleaning the minecart tracks. I mean, we haven't killed any more dwarves in the minecart system. We've merely injured them a bit. We've only killed one cat. That was because it managed to get run down twice. Right, that's all the blood removed from the minecart tracks. Right. Hey, we've hauled several dwarves out of the water, I'll have you know. So, we're mostly waiting to actually make some mechanisms. Right, so who is doing that mechanism making task now, and are they doing it in a sensible way? Nope, they're still apparently hauling a great big lump of bauxite from completely the wrong place. Look, I set it to only ever take from tooth. To only ever take from a nearby stockpile. Also, there are apparently so many cats around, it's now difficult to make progress along the corridors. Oh yes, I was going to do something slightly silly, wasn't I? Which was to say we should just melt down all the crossbow bolts we've got, because we don't use them. Well, okay, apart from the ones made of bone. There. Yes, that's pretty much correct, is it? We do indeed obtain at least some metal simply by the goblins helpfully hurling it at us. Actually, for the most part, the dwarves seem to be able to use their shields to block crossbow bolts. So how's our guy hauling a lump of bauxite doing? He's still not reached the workshop. See, this is why we use stockpiles, Jurist. Right, so where can we drain next? We could try to do this section, because that should be quite easy. Albeit slightly weird, because we could just drain it straight down into the existing drains. Is that what we want? I'm not sure. Oh yes, yes, we're down to 0 drink. Well, I brewed quite a bit. But we now have nothing left we can brew from. I mean, we've probably got some... Let's make what mead we can. But I think my hopes of being able to be self-sufficient in booze by consuming honey have, not quite worked out. I'm not sure whether that's because we keep running out of jugs. Yeah, apparently we're short of bags. Let's just make some leather bags. And probably some more leather trousers. Right, those mechanisms finally got made. Is the next mechanism going to be more sensible? Or is there now someone else? Oh, I set that stockpile in the wrong direction. That's why it doesn't work. Take from the stone stockpile. Right, cancel that job. Oops. Done. Cancel that job. So what's going on here is that this river is that those are two different shades of blue. So the 1 and 2 are at the level we're actually looking at, and the 7 is one level down. So that's that 7. Whereas the 1 and 2 are higher up because we're slightly overfilling that river as a result of pumping water into it. Which, like, to be fair, we could probably stop doing soon if we wanted to. So let's see, how is this actually going to work? I should dig some more of the stuff that I need, rather there's a dwarf actually over here helping. Slightly scared about connecting this up to the pump directly to the pump stack, but I think it's safe. Are those doors not forbidden? I think those doors should probably be forbidden for safety purposes. Anyway, I can build one more roller at least. Machines, rollers, leftwards. So if we wanted to drain here, you could try... There's not quite enough space to do this conveniently from this side. Right, that's a much more organised making of rock mechanisms. You're doing it using some rocks that were actually nearby. I mean, it'd be awkward if we ever want to do a task in this mechanics workshop that isn't making rock mechanisms, but the only other thing you can do in a mechanics workshop is make a traction bench, and no one has managed to get sufficiently injured to need one of those. Just have a quick check that we aren't accidentally breeding anything. Okay, I've found a few more geldables, but really not many now. That cat corpse is apparently not useful. Let us throw it away. This workshop is apparently doing nothing. Let's pick an item of clothing. Well, looks like all items of clothing are still needed. I think some nice warm socks would be good. Right, and I think we've just built the other mechanism we need. Right. So now we can build those last two rollers and then reflood that area. So how's that connection? That's all set up. Let us install a hatch there, a door there and there. Grate there. We need to schedule the making of some more rock grates. Right, there's a child who is claimed at Craftsdorf's workshop. Doesn't look like they're standing there waiting for ingredients though, so that's good. I assume someone's actually making that, doing that prepare lavish meal task. So here are two dwarves constructing the remaining two rollers. Pingby says, Dwarf Fortress, you can tell the name that belongs to a 7-foot, but not the species. Yes. This is indeed very Dwarf Fortress. Which means that if you pay close attention, you can guess the species. Now we need another lever. I need more, but we're making more rock mechanisms, stop worrying. Because we're going to now want to be able to operate that floor hatch. It does take quite a long time for the dwarves to walk out to the very end of the minecart tracks now in order to build things out there. You can see a child with an purple exclamation mark wandering around here. Is that a tooth? Is it? No, that's a head. It's now no longer marked as being rotted though. Olan Gurkuk. Backs Olan Gurkuk's head. There we are. So, actually I think Ngozo and Ngokang were the other ones I wanted to put on pedestals. We need more pedestals. Have we got any more pedestals? How many did I make? Yes, good. I don't know why they're in a diagonal line, they just are. Dizzyet says, does this displaying of heads actually scare the goblins at all? It might do, because certainly dwarves have emotional reactions to seeing dead bodies. And I think we've seen goblins doing so as well. Most of my dwarves have seen so many dead bodies they no longer really care about it. Oh, we should remove that track stop. It's no longer doing anything useful. But I think goblins who have not experienced significant amounts of death may well be upset by seeing all these dead goblin heads, which might well explain why, for instance, those goblin thieves ran away so much. I think they may not have been, unlike the goblin warriors, may not have been quite so blasé about seeing dead goblin heads kicking around. So yeah, I think there is actually it is at least plausible that this does actually have a useful effect. Because it was notable, the goblin thieves were scared somewhere around here, and I'm not sure they could have seen my soldiers all the way over here. But there were notably quite a few goblin heads for them to observe. I mean, I don't think they need to be goblin heads. I think dwarf heads would be just as scary, but... I mean, mostly it's because I think this is the appropriate thing to do with the heads, but I'm not going to complain if it actually works. I've nominated quite a lot of metal objects for melting. That might be quite a lot of things. How are we doing at making pig iron? We've made a reasonable amount. We can probably now schedule another batch of make steel bars. Then we can make some more steel armour. Right, and here comes a dwarf to install the last bit of the last roller. And then we can start reflooding the minecart tracks. Dizzy claims that I'm always talking about about goblin heads or track stops. Why is there a kitten in there? Oh, I'll start the pumps anyway. It's more or less safe to start this pump. Right, so we are now filling the minecart tracks with water again. This will take a little while. Someone is working on the rather slow job of linking that lever to the floor hatch it's meant to control. Oh right, my moody dwarf has wandered all the way across the map to grab some hematite because they've decided they need some hematite. Oh, we've had a birth of a dwarf. How exciting. Up to 197 population. Also, though we don't get a geld button on him. Right, the new kitten is female. And so does not need any processing. We've managed to stock up on plaster powder a bit. Oh yes, I never see anyone working in the kitchen. Who is doing that job? No one. Because it's suspended. Oh, because yes, I suspended it because we had far too many prepared meals. But I think we now have empty gaps in our prepared meals stockpile. Right, if these numbers start getting close to 7, I'll probably turn off the pumps briefly to let the water spread out. Right, that lever is now linked, so let's name it West River Drain and pull it. What are the options on these? I can turn off, yeah, but I don't, yes. I'm kind of wondering whether there's something going weird about my beekeeping. Right, that's now open. So now we can go, we can lock that door. I think we're stable at about 500,000 bees. Where do they appear in this list? Small live animals, 410,000 bees. Right, so we can forbid that door and then say, please knock a hole in this river, which I'm sure will go fine. I'm going to stop the pumps temporarily because I think we're getting a small amount of flooding at the top of them. I don't want to accidentally sweep any items down into the Please pull the lever now. Thank you. Don't want to accidentally sweep any items down into the minecart tracks. Right, good. Right, and the human corpses have now been swept out of the river. Let's wait for the various bits of human-sized clothing to move, if they will. Yes, right, and then pull that lever again. Right, apparently we still don't have enough gypsum. I mean, it's possible that's a stockpiling problem, but no, it doesn't look like one. Right, so now we can claim everything in there. Unlock that door. And since we're almost certainly not going to bury humans, just dump their skeletons. Let's pump a bit more water in there. Right, and now we're actually making meals again. As our food stocks have dropped a bit, so it may actually be worth butchering some animals. The dwarves are going and fetching spare human-sized clothing. There is an argument that we wanted to be able to fill this thing from both ends. Quite slow only filling it from one end. I think we're getting some flooding again. Right, so we have removed the dead humans from the river. We also have some spare pedestals here, so we can put the remaining goblin heads on them. Really, there should be something here to tell me which ones are already on display somewhere. Still, I can remember. Well done, you've made a bin. So hang on, what was its name again? Its English name is Omentan the Even Skies. Sorry, Omentan the Even Skies. It is a donkey bone bin. It is studded with steel, decorated with donkey bone and trillion cut glass gems, and encircled with bands of nurse shark leather, hazelwood, and round hematite cabochons. It's adorned with hanging rings of pear wood. On the item is an image of an impala in eagle leather. So there. We will probably use it to store things. Let's pump a bit more water in. This is requiring some delicacy. So how are we going to get these guys out, eh? Do we just hope that making a hole here will be good enough? So we need a water depth of 4 at least. So we want the average to be slightly over 4, which is a bit tricky when we're trying not to flood things too badly. There's something sensible I could do to redesign this so that the flooding is less of a problem. I think we'd really need some kind of a separate pipe for filling that doesn't just pour down through the main room, I suppose. Conveniently, we've got this staircase here that we don't use. Ooh, could we just fill through that? Like, it's all connected up already, we just need to remove those doors. That would be really simple. I can do that in a few minutes. Turn off the pumps for a moment, please. I have a plan. I have a plan, except that I can't actually get to this area. I'm going to have to build a staircase to access it. Hang on, no, that's a downstairs already. I just need to knock that wall down. Right, remove that wall. Remove that door. And that door. Remove that floor grate. And install a floor in place of that floor grate. And I think that will do about what I want. And will stop us ending up with water in this area. Because we'll just use this staircase as the filling pipe. I think we should also remove that section of wall there while we're at it. And let's stick a door here. It says must remove construction. I think we need to install actually a floor there. Yeah, the water level's not quite deep enough yet. Let's then install a floor here. Quickly do the usual stockpile trick to clear some of that rubbish away. Okay, that's actually a hole there, is it? Right. Oh, except if we try to pump things in there, it'll go down that drain. Right, we need to remove that floor grate as well. A smear of turnip wine, a smear of goblin blood. Right, then we should install a floor there. Okay, have we not finished dismantling the old one or something? That's better. Okay, so there's a couple of grates in there that we want to remove, so let's finish our stockpile hack by making that the usual everything stockpile. Just to shift those two grates out of the way while we also install that door. Right, we're cooking masterpieces again. Happy. Right, what are you doing? Are you coming to move those grates? Excellent. You're only coming to move one of them because someone else will come and move the other one. So now we just need that door installed, and then we can start the pump again, and it will pump the water into a more sensible place. But items have got swept down there. Nothing I care about really, but it's kind of annoying that we have items that have managed to end up landing in the water. The water may just be shallow enough that people can actually retrieve things from it, of course. We could try doing another. So will that be enough to cause people to pick up the objects from in that not very deep water? Or is it too deep? We will see. Will we end up with a lot of cancellations because the water is occasionally too deep? Doesn't look like anyone is keen to move those objects. Oh, we have someone who needs to be placed in traction. That's a problem. We don't have any traction benches. Right. Let us temporarily disconnect that Crafts Dwarfs workshop. No, disconnect the mechanics workshop from its stone stockpile and add a task to make a traction bench. In the hope that we have a table lying around somewhere. Okay, someone's trying to move something into stockpile 44. I mean, no doubt you've now switched to drinking, so does that mean you decided you couldn't? All right, we don't have any spare tables. Okay. Just quickly make a rock table by hand. Okay, it doesn't look like we're making any cloth clothes at the moment. Let's make some gloves. I'm sure people will like having gloves. We actually seem to have an adequate stock of socks. Well, briefly. Yeah, I think removing those items is not going to happen. Pity, but I can do without them. I'm not going to drain the water from the minecart run just for that. Right, now we can start the pump again and it should be less messy. Because now the water will come down the staircase. There. And not end up in the open. Yes, that's much more effective. No additional flooding here. I mean, there is still some water there which we'd like to get rid of, but yeah, I think it's filling faster now that we have got it kind of pressurised somehow. I'm not sure. Oh, because I also cleared away some of these walls so that there wasn't such a narrow passage for it to flow through. Yes, I think this is much better. Less messy and faster. Right, that's probably enough water. Right, now we've actually got some space in our ingredient stockpile as well. Right, so I think that's now enough water that people can start learning to swim in it. Actually, we need to wait a bit so there aren't any bits that are 7 units deep. Because then they can start, if there are bits that are 7 units deep, they can start learning to drown in them, which would not be helpful. So let's wait for the water to smear itself out a bit further. Steph says, I thought they were all dabbling drowners. Well, yes, but we don't want them to get any better at drowning. Oh, we've still got this tiny section of track that's missing because it never got rebuilt. I was meaning to do that while we had it drained. Oh well. Right, the water level all seems reasonable now. So let's attach all of the mine carts again. And then we might consider running more mine carts because, well, we've got so much more space, except that I don't think we've got very much space for them to sit at the ends of the route anymore. Oh, one of them is still set to not ride, isn't it? Let's fix that. There. So let's hope this works. Whee! There are 2 of you riding right next to one another. I'm sure that will be fine. I'm slightly concerned those 2 will collide at some point. Oh dear, one of them has collided and everything has gone wrong. Well, that was quick. And now someone else has got stuck. Well, that was the fastest failure ever. Right, shut it down. Observe, 4 of the minecarts are now marked as inaccessible from first stop. Oh, partly because some of them are still moving, but... Well, they're going to learn lots of swimming getting back from this. I think I should make sure I turn them all off anyway, even if they are all inaccessible. No, sorry, you clicked none, you idiot. So it turns out that the new way in which it can all go wrong is that if 2 minecarts are launched very close in time, yes, the red 5s are blood in the water. I don't think anyone's been injured badly enough that they won't live. So I will check. One person's still having fun though. Right, we should probably start the pumps to drain it all again, because there's all these minecarts that we probably can't get out. I think I'm going to need a better draining system. I think it slowed down a bit at the end. But yeah, I wasn't paying much attention to that because people were busy getting run down by minecarts. That's not a happy set of injuries. Where's that how's that traction bench coming? Can I ask for a new traction bench now? Have we made a table? Let's try. Still, escaping from here is going to help train their swimming pretty well. Right, someone's coming along to start the drain, to operate the drain pump. It should make it a bit easier to get out. You'll observe that this dwarf is carefully staying off the tracks as much as possible. Okay, it may not be entirely easy to get out because it's rather too easy to be sucked into the drains. Excuse me, let's turn the pump off again so that the poor dwarf near the drain pump can actually get away from the drain pump. Adequate swimmer. See, there are disadvantages to being hit by minecarts, but you do learn to swim while you're trying to get yourself out of the water. Skilled swimmer. Look at that. We'll need some fairly serious medical treatment, but do we still not have any tables then? Let's make a load of rock tables because we clearly need more. Oh, and we can start the drain pumps again. I mean, we may not have to drain it very much if we only want to remove the minecarts. I think there is an argument for having a better drainage. I mean, the filling system, now that we've rebuilt it, is quite decent. Right, so they need traction. So do they. We need 2 traction benches. Right, let's build 2 traction benches. Seb asks, how do minecarts get back to the start? Well, in the usual case, they end up in this little section here, and then someone picks them up and carries them over to the start again. But currently they've all collided with one another and then with various spare dwarves, and so have all got stuck in the water. And I'm not sure there's any way to fix that. Looks like minecarts don't get swept along very much by currents. Though we should pay attention to them now and see if they do. But yes, even though we've got quite a lot of water flow now, those minecarts aren't going anywhere. Diziot asks, do normal uses of minecarts have these terrible lack of signalling problems? Yes, unless you operate them as one engine in Steam, which is what I'm doing on my lower minecart, and it doesn't kill anyone. Like the fact that we don't even have a sensible system of time delays for launching minecarts, which might be a bit of a problem. I had hoped that it wouldn't be a serious problem, but apparently it is. Well, the humans never came to trade. Seb asks, can you make them into a single trade? No, that would be much too sensible. So yes, our problem is that if two minecarts are launched too close to the same time, then they end up colliding. I'm now wondering if we could have some kind of a delay system whereby we say this door is like left closed. What are you guys doing down there? All right, you've decided to try to clean up the blood before we've got all the water out. Well, have fun. Well, the thing is, we really don't want train stops because we don't want the trains to stop in the water, because that leads to enormous amounts of faff as we drain all the water out. Maybe we did successfully make a traction bench. Let's see if we can erect one. Oh yes, excellent. I think we can probably build another one, which we might well need. Do all three of them need traction? Yep, right, we need 3 traction benches. Right, we've now got a reasonable amount of space in the ingredients stockpile. We're still successfully making mead, which is nice. So we could probably safely slaughter some animals, which would get us a bit more food. I mean, we're not very short of food, but some of our older livestock may be reasonably slaughtered. See, the dwarves have cleaned up some of the blood. Yeah, well, there's a traction bench available now. Someone can place someone in traction. There will be more soon. Right, someone has been cleaned up and stuck in traction. Can I inspect the traction bench? Oh, there's an exciting message. It appears to be a decorated traction bench. All right, merely a well-crafted gypsum traction bench with a chain in superior quality billen. Oh. Erith Kilobdural, diagnostician, has been missing for a week. That's worrying. Seeing if there are surprise corpses anywhere in the... There they are. Oh dear. I think our pumping system is more dangerous than I had expected. I think I should... well, I don't want to stop the pumps, but... No, but I found their body. There. Which looks suspiciously much like they've got caught in the pump outflow. So I think I need to reorganise the drainage of this thing, because it's killed a dwarf as well as 3 kittens. I mean, we've just gained another population, so we're not making a loss. Right, we now have some spare traction, all the traction benches installed, so we might hope do we need more plaster powder? That's apparently still underway. Let's mine a little bit more gypsum. So yes, I think we need better drains to get the water out of this area, so that when things go wrong we can fix them quicker, and also so that we don't sweep people off and indeed kittens off into the water by them accidentally interacting with the pump outflow. I mean, I think we could fix that by digging out around the pump outflow so that it didn't end up flooding the nearby land. But it would be even safer if it didn't, we didn't pump the water out onto the surface at all. So that's going to be the plan. Still, we're discovering new ways that things can go wrong, and we're gradually getting better at swimming. Also, the population is gradually going up as our dwarves have children. And at least this dwarf is, yeah, we've got two, or I think maybe a third one spent so long in the water they learnt to swim as well. Like if we can get the system to actually keep some more people in the water, disposing of bits of llama, one moment, then yeah, I think this is actually working. But I think the ability to drain and refill the water a bit quicker will help us. So I think the next plan is to make it actually possible to... We can fill it fast now. The new filling system is quite rapid. And seems to be fairly safe. The drain system is slow and dangerous. So I think that needs to be fixed. But for now, we'll just have to... We'll do it... I mean, maybe we start digging the drains now. And like build the same standard drainage system we've already built 17 of. Well, 4 or 5 of. And just drain the remaining water that way. Like if we had some holes in the wall at intervals with floor hatches and grates behind them. Then those could then just drop the water down into the drains down here. And that would probably be reasonably swift. But, yes, all attached to the same lever. So you just pull one lever and whoosh, all the water drops, well, what drops fairly quickly out of the swimming pool. But through grates so that it doesn't actually doesn't immediately kill everyone by drowning. Look, we made some honey as well. Hurrah. Right, that's, I think, going to be all for tonight, though, because the next jobs are quite big and involve sorting out... Oh dear, we've drowned another cat. Sorting out, draining and refilling this more rapidly. And if I can think of a way to time departures, that would be nice. So that like you can't depart until a few seconds, until like the previous minecart is a decent distance away. But I really can't think of... I can't immediately think of how to do that, though I'm beginning to have ideas. If I have any good ideas, we might be able to do that next time. Though next time is going to be quite close to Christmas. But Friday, I think, will happen. So yes, I will see you probably next Friday, when we might be able to make this slightly safer. But then that's what I always say, and it never turns out like that. So, good night, and we will see you on Friday.